Hey cuties, I'm Lanikia and you're watching What Happened on the Soaps. All right, guys. Let's get right into this. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm gonna have to give this one a 7. Today is Tuesday, October the 25th, 2022. Let's jump right into it. Baby, Nikki is mean. When Phyllis came over and said, listen, I got something to tell you. I am here for the gossip. What you got to tell me? Phyllis really didn't have nothing to say because she didn't get all the information. But she said something went down between Jack and Diane because she was in his office. And let me tell you, girl, Nikki said, what? She was crying. And Nikki said, crying? Why was she crying? And Phyllis said, I don't know. But whatever it was, Jack was ticked off. And then Nikki said, well, why you didn't get the rest of the information? She said, well, Jack left before I could go back in. And, what was I supposed to do? Nikki said, go to his house and figure out. She said, girl, we ain't on them kind of terms. I can't go to this man's house. And Nikki is like, oh, you right or whatever. But dang, what's the point of having you at Marchetti if we don't get all the information? You can't get all the information. And Phyllis said, I've been doing my part, and quiet as kept. Phyllis and Nikki have been doing their part. Like Nikki started a little after Phyllis, but from get go, Phyllis has done what was supposed to be done. She gave up her business. She went over there and infiltrated Marchetti. She been all up in Diane's face. She the reason Diane spilled her little truth. I'm sorry, I still don't believe that's all her truth. But she the reason Diane spilled what she did know. So she said, so when you talk to me, have a little bit more respect when you talk. And Nikki was like, yeah, you know what, you're right. She said, but I know we're going to get to the bottom of all this with Diane. And Nikki does acknowledge that, everybody else doesn't really have to interact with Diane. Because Nikki is Summer's grandmother, but she don't be seeing Summer like that, which means she don't have to see Diane like that. Summer is is Phyllis' daughter. You have to interact. That's Kyle's mom, so she always around. Y'all work together. She said, so yeah, it would benefit you more than anybody to get her out of town. But Phyllis said, don't worry, because I feel like we're going to get to the bottom of Diane's real secret. And when we do, it's gonna blow up in Kyle and everybody's gonna be like, it's going to be like, done with her. So then, baby, we see Tucker and Diane, and he tells Diane, why are you looking like that? And she says, I don't even want anything to do with you. Don't talk to me. He said, oh, somebody found out your secret. Somebody found out dug up those bones that we buried. Because he said we buried them so well. How could they? But not Nikki, but Diane is just like, I don't want to talk. And he said, it was you, wasn't it? You were the one. It was you, wasn't it? You were the one who told the secret. And so she admits to him, she told Jack, because she said that he was coming on her. So she told Jack, and he said, what did you tell her? Tell him. And she said, I told him how you and Jeremy used me. Jeremy used me as a mule, and then when you found out, you used me as well. Baby, Tucker was hot. He was like, oh yeah, you told him. And she was stirring that coffee with that tea stick, with the coffee stick. Baby, he took that and broke it. Stop stirring this coffee. And she says, everything is going to be fine with you. And because she said, he was like, if Ashley finds out, if Jack tells Ashley what you've been doing and all this for me, and it ruins what I have planned as far as, I guess, the company, taking over the company and then getting Ashley back, I'm gonna take that personally. And she says, oh, Ashley's gonna you never had a chance with Ashley anyways, so what does it matter? Because she wasn't gonna take you back, sir. She ain't want you. And so he says, you don't know that. And she says, messing with you, I couldn't keep it holding it any longer because she wants her chance with Kyle as well as Jack. And she said messing with him might have ruined that or what and everything. And she couldn't do any more damage to her relationship. So that's why she had to come clean. And he said she cares about what they think about her. He said, you need to be thinking about what I think about you and how I feel about you. Because if you ruin this, I'm going to make your life hell. I said, well, Diane, you getting it from all sides today. Because he said all you had to do was keep your mouth shut. And she said if you had stayed with our original deal, which was me tell you when Ashley came into town and leave me alone, then I could have kept my mouth shut. And I'm sorry. I still believe there's more to Diane's story. I still believe there's more to this story. She's not telling the whole truth. And I want to know. So then Tucker leaves because he gets a text from Ashley and he says, you better hope Ashley is good with him. And so when he leaves later on, Phyllis comes in because Diane is still sitting there, and Phyllis like, "Oh, Diane, is everything okay?" Phyllis is faking concern and everything for Diane, and Diane was like, "Don't you ever get tired?" Diane was like, "Leave me alone sometimes, ma'am," and she starts snapping off at Phyllis. Because Phyllis is like, what did I walk in with you on, you and Jack? And Diane's like, don't you ever get tired? And Phyllis says, Diane, I've just tried to be nice to you. I've been trying to live by this truth that we have with the kids, but you just keep biting my head off and this and that. And Diane was like, you, Phyllis, you're loving every bit of this. You're so happy that this is all happening to me. And everything, and you're just a miserable person. She told Phyllis, and you just can't wait to be the one that says, I told you so. That's what this is all about. You just cannot wait to be the one that tells everyone, I told you so, when it comes to me. And then Diane leaves Phyllis there, like where she's sitting. And so Phyllis is just like, because she doesn't care. At the end of the day, Phyllis does want Diane to pay for all of her crimes, and she wants her out of town and everything. So I mean, it is what it is. What can you say? If Diane had came in and been truthful from the very beginning, Phyllis wouldn't even have been able to hold this over her. So then we see Jack and Ashley. And Ashley said Jack was in deep thought, and Ashley said hello because he was thinking about Diane and how all these times she kept saying, no, 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 there's nothing else. There's nothing else I need to tell you. And then how she was confessing. And so Ashley said, you seem to be in deep thought. And he was like, oh, it's about work. She said, no, it wasn't. What is it? And so he starts telling her, you were right about Diane. And she says, how were we right? And he was like, the man in the car Bentley was Tucker. And he said she was into some shady stuff, but he says a part of me knew, I couldn't trust her. And Ashley said, really? Because it didn't feel like that. And then, but Jack, even now, Jack still wants to try to make an excuse for Diane about, well, she was really in something and she felt like she had no choice. She had to survive because she was going to be exposed as Taylor Jenkins. Yeah, that's it. And Ashley said, I don't care about that. She still lied. So what did she lie about? And he was telling her about that. And then he told her about how Tucker got involved and Tucker wanted her to spy on Ashley. And Ashley said, I don't even care about that. I don't care what Tucker knows about me. She said, what I do care about is Kyle and how this is going to affect him. And Jack says, so do I. She's been telling us over and over that she was on the straight and narrow. Now he's got to find out that she's been lying since the very beginning. And we already knew she did use shady ways to get in touch with Allie. Now we know really how shady they were. And Ashley is just like, I'm still going to meet with Tucker, because he was like, you're not going to leave Tucker alone? She said, no, because she said, I don't believe that's the end of the story with Diane. I believe she just told you the surface and it goes deeper than that. So I'm going to meet with Tucker because I'm going to get to the bottom of this. And I said, okay then, Ashley. But Jack's sitting over there because he don't really want to do all that. He still wants to give Diane some type of benefit of the doubt, I feel like, but let's move on, y'all. And child, Devon comes up to Abby and Chance and he tells them, I'm sorry about what you saw. And then they say, what was that about? Well, Abby asked it. He said he didn't want to get into it about with Nate and everything. And then he said, but it looks like I'm ruining y'all date night. And Abby was like, no, no, no. And then Chance gets hit up by the police department and they do need him to come in to work. So he was like, oh, I'm sorry. She said, no, it's okay. So then Devon says, do you mind if I keep you company? Now, y'all know the girl who played Amanda has left the show, right? And on Friday's episode, they're supposed to give us an update on Devon's relationship with Amanda. So I said, okay, I see it. So we're setting this up for Chance to get with Chelsea and Amanda to go to Devon. That's what I see is happening. Y'all tell me what you think. But anyways, getting back to this storyline. So they're talking, and he starts to tell her about how Neil, excuse me, Nate told him that, he didn't want anyone else to run the company with him but Neil. And I said, well, nobody was running the company. See, I don't see what Nate's point in that is, but I get what they're trying to do with this, but I don't see the point in that, because Nate was the COO, not the CEO. And Lily said, well, excuse me, Abby said, well, doesn't Lily run it with you? He was like, nah, she really runs her side and I run my side. We merged, but we didn't really merge like that. And, she said, well, is there any validation into what Nate is saying? And he was like, he's saying, I didn't grieve my dad. And so me holding on to this company is kind of part of that. And she said, you did build that company, Hamilton Winters, with your dad. So it would be, I could understand if you didn't want to, give that up. It would make sense if you didn't want to. And so she was just being a comforting friend to him, but they connect, they get each other, they understand, and they put family first. Um so she was like, which I thought it was we like Abby had to cancel what she was doing in work to go out with Chance, and then he ended up having to leave for work. So, but she said that's the life of the detective's wife. But anyways, getting back to this story, Devon just tells Abby that, he will never be friends. She doesn't go into detail on what Nate has done. He said, but what Nate has been, the way Nate betrayed me, it's over. Like, we will never be anything, because he's done. And y'all know how Devon gets. So he's pretty much like, I'm done with all that. And so Abby just talks to him and she's giving him comfort. And then Chance walks back in and he sees this. And I said, really? Y'all really gonna make it look like like Abby and Devon are too close? Like, stop. I get it, because the girl left the show, so y'all have to bring up a storyline. But I like, this ain't it for me. We've not seen anything romantic with Devon and Abby. The last few months, they've been friends. So this is crazy. But anyways, Chance goes to Devon and he says he's back. And she was like, oh my gosh. He was like, thanks for keeping her company. You mind if I get my wife back? And he was like, go ahead, man. And so then, he and Abby get on a dance floor, right? Did y'all peep that? They get on the dance floor, and then Devon is looking like he's envious or jealous or sad that she had to leave. And then Abby is holding on to Chance on the dance floor, and she's looking like she don't want to be there. She want to be somewhere else with Devon or something. I said, nah, no. Now, we haven't seen nothing to convey that this storyline was going to happen. We've seen them talking to each other, but it's like how Devon talks to Elena, friends. That's it. Like, there's nothing romantic that's been sparked. But let's move on, child, because that's where they're going with this. So then we see Lily and Billy, and I'm not gonna hold you long on this. They talking about his career, and she just doesn't want him to get lazy, and she doesn't want him not to have much time on his hand because he makes bad decisions. He said, "Don't worry, I'm not gonna make any bad decisions," but he does worry how Jill is gonna react to him quitting the company, especially when they're in crisis like this. I said, "Well, if you ain't got no plans, why you can't stay on for another month or two?" But okay, I get it. So then they see Ashley, and Billy said, "You picking up dinner?" She said, "No, I'm actually has a social engagement. I'm actually going to see a real person." He says, "As long as it's not Tucker." Billy Shaw have a lot to say about people and who they should and should not see. But you steady running over there to Victoria, even though she betrayed your company. You don't know it, but still. And you steady running over to Chelsea, but here comes Tucker in, and he says, the other half of Chancellor Winters. And Lily says, Tucker, I said, girl, you need to talk to him like that, because he's going to take your company. That's his goal, to take your company. And so, Billy is just like, have fun with that. I said, Billy is the most judgmental screw up. I mean, I'm sorry. I know y'all love Billy, but he be screwing up, but he always has so much judgment for other people. I just don't understand it. But anyway, so Tucker sits down with Ashley. He says, "I was surprised to hear from you. I'm glad I heard from you." And she said, "Tucker, I want to know the truth about what happened between you and Diane in Los Angeles, and I want to know everything. If you want to get back with me, I need to know all, and you can start from the beginning. And that was Young and the Restless today, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget, I will be going live on Friday at 7 p.m. Central. That is 8 p.m. Eastern Time and 5 p.m. on the West Coast. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.